Roads, bridges, culverts, and waterways are the lifelines of Conway County for farmers, ranchers, hunters, and every resident. For the county of roughly 6,000 people, the local tax base are low and cannot keep up with the aging infrastructure. What is your specific plan for ensuring these systems are maintained and improved? Who pays? What is the funding source? And how do we make sure taxpayers understand all of their homes and process? Please refer to specific legislation that you have carried or plan to carry in this area.
That's a pretty for 2 minutes. That's a pretty molded question. First of all, I'm a pretty big advocate of turning lanes and safety improvements at Bowman's Corner. There's a long story to that for me. And second of all, these are local priorities, but they can't hardly keep up with it, especially with the amount of miles that we have on here. I'm on the transportation committee. Road building is one of my favorite things to talk about. Culverts, pipe, utilities, all of this stuff just takes a tremendous amount of money. I believe there's local participation indicating what the needs are as going forward, and to try to figure out where you're going to make that money up at, someplace or another. My druthers would be that everything starts at the local level, and when they need help, to come to the legislature and see if they can justify a contribution to that. The next thing that I really appreciate is water systems. So Senate District 9 is the crown jewel of the water coming down. Our irrigations are all really in tough shape. There was a bill in the last legislature to raise 310 permit violations to $5,000 per day. And it passed the legislature. I made a few points to aides of the governor, and the governor vetoed that bill, and I really appreciated that. Otherwise, people who are irrigators and do anything with the streams would have faced a $5,000 per day fine, whereas now they back to where it was to begin with, $500 per day in that particular situation. Just love building road. It's a tough, especially up here where gravel's plentiful, but getting into the jungles.
Thank you. You're correct. There's a huge urban-rural divide out there. In Senate District 9, which is 3.5 counties, there's about 21,600 folks. Versus Yellowstone County has 180,000 folks. And I tell you what, the urban care little for rural needs. So I believe the state must partner with the rurals, the locals, in solving infrastructure problems. My preferred mechanism has always been a trust fund. The reason I pick trusts is that we feel they do not pick the pocket of the taxpayers. Once they exist, they work continuously. An example would be the North Dakota Trust, the Legacy Trust, or the Wyoming Trust. When I first went to the legislature, I worked with the Coal Trust. I expanded water and bridge and sewer access there. And then in 2017, I added what has now grown to a $300 million sub-trust for school maintenance. So if a local school blows a roof or a boiler, the state will partner with them, not cover it all, but partner. The challenge we've had is there's been a significant environmental agenda in the state, and it's resulted in our coal dollars shrinking substantially. And that leaves our bridges and our water systems in dire straits. So last session, I created House Bill 924, which was a Growth and Opportunity Trust. We took ARPA surplus, we took some capital gains that came in that was unusual, and we chose to invest it in a trust rather than send it back to buy a few votes with a rebate. This trust will match local bridges 80-20. It focuses on water storage. It helps reduce property taxes and adjust other infrastructure. Now, I know there's folks out there, to be honest, some of my opponent supporters that like calling this trust fund a slush fund for my cronies. Well, then you're all my cronies. Because whether you're a farmer or a rancher or a tourist or just someone that needs to go fishing, you have to cross a bridge. You probably want a good, cool drink of water. So bottom line, I do believe, especially in these rural counties, the state is going to have to partner in infrastructure projects. Thank you.